Hey guys, Chester Westford here. So, it's no secret that I'm not the biggest fan of the Chibnall era. It's overall just not been for me. But with the era almost over, looking back, it's not all bad. Even the worst eras have some elements to enjoy in them, and I'd hesitate to call Chibnall's era the worst. So, it must have some good, right? I think it does. And with the era coming to a close this fall, I wanted to do a quick look back at some things that I think it did rather well. So here we go, counting down the top 5 things the Chibnall era got right. Number 1, the theme song. While I wouldn't say it's my favorite theme, I mean, there's no version of the Doctor Who theme used on the TV that I don't like, I have to admit this is up there as a really good one. I like that, similar to a few other things later on the list, it goes back to the original classic series and updates it in its own way. And that not only goes for the rearrangement by Sega Nakanola, but also Ben Pickles' visuals. They really give a feel of being an update to the old Pertwee or Hartnell or Troughton styles of these weird shapes pulsing with the music. While I do in some episodes miss the sting, it's just, again, that goes back to the beginning. They didn't have the sting at the beginning. And it's just cool to see them trying something new while also going back to the old a little bit. Number 2, hiding the twists. Even though I haven't been a fan of some of the twists Chibnall has presented in his era, i.e. pre-Hartnell Doctors, I have to admit he did a really good job of hiding them. I don't think anyone saw the Ruth Doctor reveal coming, and covering it up with a Jack Harkness twist that people also didn't see coming was genius. Also, compare the master twist in Spyfall to the twist in World Enough in Time. Both are very well shot and presented in the story, and both are very good twists. The only problem with the Sim twist was, well, we saw him in the trailer. I doubt that had anything to do with Moffat himself. That might have been more a promotional team from the BBC or something, but wouldn't it have been nice to have that surprise when he showed up? But yeah, well done for hiding twists, whoever was responsible for that in this era. Number 3, the historicals. Although I'm not sure it's completely worked 100%, I do give the writing team credit for trying to bring back actual historicals. It was a bold move and a good move. I mean, we've had historicals in the past modern eras, like Fires of Pompeii, for instance, or the Shakespeare Code, but the historical settings and characters usually ended up taking a back seat to the sci-fi elements. Whereas in this era, the sci-fi elements sometimes took a back seat to the historical settings. Again, kind of like going back to the Hartnell era, like Rosa or Demons of the Punjab, for instance. I think I learned a lot more about history from them than I did from, say, the Shakespeare Code. Now, I like the Shakespeare Code, I'm not trying to knock it, but it's just cool to have this kind of storytelling back. I like that it's closer to the educational remit of the show as originally visioned. It's just neat that they tried it. I do kind of wish that at times they'd gone a bit more into it, like, did we really need the aliens in Demons in the Punjab or the future racist guy in Rosa? I think they would have been better stories if, like in the Hartnell era, the dangers came from within the historical period. Or maybe like in the case of Rosa, the Doctor and co accidentally mess up time and almost prevent Rosa, or do prevent Rosa from getting on the bus, and they have to go back and fix it. Honestly, I think that would have been a much more interesting story. But anyways, as I say, it may not always have worked perfectly, but I really do give them credit for doing a pretty good job. Number 4, the horror stories. As a lifelong fan of classic horror, I love when Doctor Who delves into the mysterious and creepy. It's not always easy to do a horror story in a show that tends to veer away from the supernatural. Trouble is, sometimes in the past when we're promised a horror story, it often ends up being, if I'm honest, kinda disappointing. Like Hide or Knock Knock, which were both promoted as scary haunted house stories, but ended up being revealed as pretty much bog standard sci-fi that was kinda not that interesting. At least to me. If you love them, that's great. But yeah, the two horror-tinged tales we have in the Chibnall era, however, although they did have science fiction explanations, they didn't take away from the horror. Making Ashad part Cyberman, part zombie was a smart move in The Haunting of Villa Diodati. His scariness just matched the story and the mood the episode had already set up, and I think even added to the scare factor. Village of the Angels also did some really unique things with the angels, and I think they were the scariest they had been since Blink. Both these episodes delivered the thrills and chills in the way that was promised, and that's not something we always get. Also, I would note that both were either written or co-written by Maxine Alderton, who is now one of my favorite Doctor Who writers of all time. She's a great writer, and I really hope she comes back for RTD2. Russell, I know you watch my videos. Get her back. I order it. He doesn't watch my videos. people do. And number 5 on the list of the top 5 things the Chibnall era got right: classic monster and villain redesigns. Okay, so yeah, this is the number one thing. We've had 4 redesigns so far in this era, and they have all been brilliant. First, there was the Reconnaissance Dalek from Resolution, which looked really cool. I really liked that design. And the Daleks from Revolution, which were obviously built from the design of that one. Given that these were a one-off design and had story reasons for being different, it's doubtful we'll ever see them again, and I think that's probably a good thing, Go back to the classic design is good. But yeah, I'm really glad we got that variation here. It was just nice for a change. Secondly, we have the Cybermen, which, if, of the 3 main redesigns we've had in the new series, I think these are definitely my favorite, like the ones we got in the Time as Children, for instance. Then we have the new Sontarans, which are just brilliant. I love that it took the original design from the 1970s and such a perfect combination of old and new. And speaking of a perfect combination of old and new, we have one more redesign which I thought was really cool. I mean, when we saw them actually on screen in the episode, they weren't perfect, but I love that they went back to the classic series and updated the design rather than just like kind of going a whole new route like they did with the Silurians. And of course, I'm talking about the Sea Devils. Like I say, in the same vein of the Sontarans, they stayed very true to the original look while also updating it to more modern standards. A show like this that has run so long has to do redesigns every few years so it doesn't look, well, outdated. Every era has done it, but honestly, in my opinion, I think the Chibnall era is the one that did it the best. And you may have noticed at the top I called it Classic Monster and Villains Redesigns. That's because I'm going to throw in this section as an honorable mention Sacha Dhawan's master. Not the character of his master, although I do like his master. Rather, I really love his costume. It kind of echoes something the Doctor would wear in a way we haven't seen the master wear before. I kind of always thought it would be cool if he did dress a little more like the Doctor for at least one incarnation, since he's supposed to be his equal and all. And now he does, and it looks amazing, and I want that outfit. If I was going to cosplay as any master, it would definitely be him. I wonder if they make that in my size. I gotta get a little outfit like that. That would be so amazing. Now I really want to cosplay as Sacha Dhawan's master. But anyways, so those are my picks for the top 5 things the Chibnall era got right. What do you think? What are your favorite things from his era? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!